Redditors of Reddit, what's the best joke you know? Not mine, but I think it belongs to my favorite ones. Doctor, will I be okay? I don't know. Mercury is in Uranus right now. I don't do astronomy. Doc, me neither. My thermometer just broke. What does a robot do during a one-night stand? He nuts and bolts. What's the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? The taste. Did you hear about the cheese factory in France that exploded? Debris was everywhere. Stalin is sitting at his desk busy with paperwork when his assistant bursts into the room and says, "Comrade Stalin, there is a clairvoyant here that wants to see you. He claims he can see the future. Send him to Gulag," says Stalin. If he could see the future, he wouldn't have come here. I was in the office today and the cleaning lady asked if I wanted to smoke weed with her after work. I turned her down. I don't really like high maintenance women. Two nuns were sitting on a park bench when a naked man runs by. One of the nuns had a stroke, the other couldn't reach. I mixed up the words jacuzzi and yakuza and now I'm in hot water with the Japanese mafia. A Buddhist walks up to a hot dog vendor and says, "Make me one with everything." Bonus for philosophy nerds. Descartes walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, Descartes, I just got this new import beer in. Want to try it?" Descartes says, I think not," and he vanishes into thin air.
The Buddhist gets his hot dog and pays with a $10. He asks the vendor, "Where's my change?" The vendor replies, "Change comes from within." The dead math teacher version: a horse walks into a bar and orders a drink. The bartender asks the horse if it isn't odd that a horse is ordering a drink in a bar, and the horse says, "I think not," and promptly disappears. Descartes was a famous mathematician, scientist, philosopher who once posited, "I think, therefore I am." The joke is funnier when you do the explanation first, but to do that would be to put Descartes before the horse.
A man goes to a funeral. He asks the widow if he could say a word. He goes to the front and says plethora and sits back down. The widow leans over and whispers, "Thanks, that means a lot." Another man approaches. He had been a close companion of the deceased. He too asks the widow if he might speak, and heads to the front. "Bargain," he says. The widow pats his arm. That means a great deal.
My personal favorite one: a man comes up and asks to say a few words, and the widow gives him the okay. He steps up to the mic and says with confidence, "Water pit." The widow gives a small smile. "Thanks, I know you mean well."
Two guys are walking down the street when they see a dog licking his balls. One guy says, "I wish I could do that." The other replies, "Well, maybe just try petting him first." "Dad, the trashman's here. Tell him we don't need any." A man sat down at a bar and told the bartender, "I bet you $300 that I can piss into the cup all the way over there on the other side of the bar and not miss a single drop." The bartender said, "There is no way you can do that." "Sure, I'll bet you $300. The man then begins to undo his pants and begins pissing. He starts pissing all over the bar, spraying on the bottles and the bartender, not making a single drop in the cup. The bartender starts smiling and laughing and says, "That's it, you owe me $300. The man then gets up and walks over to the pool table and starts laughing and shaking hands with the men standing there. He walks back to bar, sits down and starts laughing at the bartender and hands him the money. The bartender asks, "Why are you laughing? You just lost the bet." The man said, "I'm laughing because I bet those guys over there $1,000 that I could piss all over you and your bar and you would still be laughing when I was done." What did the sign on the door of the brothel say? "Beat it, we're closed." An English job foreman is hiring, and an Irishman soon appears requesting a job. Laughing, the foreman responds, "You? Hire you? I doubt you know the difference between a girder and a joist." After a moment of pondering, the Irishman responds, "Well, one fellow wrote Faust, and the other wrote Ulysses, and my favorite when it's okay to go off color." Mother Superior is sitting in the convent one night when she hears a knock at the door. She looks out the peephole, and, seeing no one, very cautiously opens the door. She's stunned to find two leprechauns standing meekly, hats in hand, on the steps of the nunnery. My sons. How can I help you this fine evening? Well, mother, have you any leprechaun nuns in this convent? I'm sorry, my son, we've no leprechaun nuns here. Well, mother, do you know of any leprechaun nuns anywhere? No, my son, I don't know of any in all Ireland. And if there's none here, then there can't be any leprechaun nuns in the whole church. At this, the first leprechaun whips around, jabbing his finger at his companion. I told you you've been fucking a penguin. I had a song stuck in my head the other day and kept singing it out loud. My wife finally broke down and screamed, "Will you please stop singing Wonderwall?" I said maybe.
I hear you, dude. I was humming the chorus to "I'm a Believer" around the house the other day when my wife suddenly screamed at me to knock it off. This was really out character for her, so I just assumed she was joking. Then I saw her face.
A penguin is on a long deserved vacation from the zoo. He decides to take a road trip out west, where his car breaks down. Luckily, it's right in front of a mechanic in town. He drops the car off and tells the mechanic he's going to get some lunch. It's a really hot day, so after eating he stops by the ice cream shop for a little treat. Walking back to his car, the mechanic tells the penguin, "It looks like you blew a seal." The penguin laughs. "Oh, no," he said, as he wiped his mouth, "it's just ice cream."
Mechanic, come again? Penguin, I told you, it's only ice cream.
Doc, you gotta help me. I can't stop singing "What's New Pussycat." That sounds like Tom Jones syndrome. Is it common? It's not unusual. I went to the zoo and saw a baguette in a cage. I asked the zookeeper about it, and he told me it was bred in captivity. One day 3 people were stuck on an island with cannibals. The cannibals said, "If you do what we say, we won't kill you." So the 3 people followed the orders the cannibals. So the cannibals said, "Go into the forest and pick 10 fruits of the first fruit you see." So the first person came back out of the forest with 10 apples. The cannibals said, "Put the apples up your ass," without making a facial expression. The person then made a facial expression after the second apple, so the cannibals killed him. The second person came back out of the forest with 10 cherries. The cannibals said, "Put the cherries up your ass," without making a facial expression. The person then started laughing on the 10th cherry, so they killed him. In heaven, the person with apples asked the person with cherries, "Why did you start laughing?" The person replied, "I saw the third person come out with pineapples." People are shocked when they find out what a terrible electrician I am. A proctologist walks into a bank. He needs to sign a document. He tries to sign, but he pulls a thermometer out of his shirt pocket. "Oh shit, some arsehole has my pen." Why did the blind man fall into the well? He couldn't see that well. This guy sees a sign, "Talking dog $5. He walks up and asks the man, "Does this dog really talk?" "Owner, yet bullshit dog. It's true. I can talk." "Man, holy shit dog. Yeah, I started out in the circus as a sideshow, until the CIA found me. They recruited me as a spy. No one suspects the dog in the room is listening to state secrets. After 2 tours, I retired here in the country to live out my days." Man, my god, man. That is the most astounding thing I have ever heard. So, why the hell are you only selling him for $5, owner? Because that dog is a liar. He didn't do any of that shit.
A Labrador deceiver.
A man goes to a bar and claims his dog can talk. Bartender, "Oh yay? Prove it." "Okay, dog, what goes on top of a house?" "Dog." "Roof." Bartender, "That's stupid. What else?" "Well, what is the opposite of smooth?" "Dog." "Rough." Bartender, "Come on, you get one more shot or I'm throwing your lying ass out of here." "Okay, dog, who's the best baseball player of all time?" "Dog." "Ruth." The bartender isn't impressed and throws them out the bar. On the way home, the dog says, "Should I have said Hank Aaron?" This is the end, my only friend. Post your favorite jokes in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.